Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Super sorry I lagged on this look. This was from Valentine's Day. It's called Love is a Gamble, and it's a dice and card inspired skeleton skull. And I've been lagging just because I want to enter the NYX Face Awards, so I'm trying to step up my game and my shit together. So needless to say, if you want to learn how I did this, just keep on watching. So I start mapping out the chest piece with a brown eyebrow pencil. I wanted to style the whole look after the old school Mafia Vegas vibes so that it really worked well with the cards and dice theme that I was going with, plus my sick fedora hat that I had. Plus I was just dying to use my houndstooth stencil on a jacket, so there you have it. After mapping out everything for the chest piece using a reference guide for the bow tie, I start filling in the skeleton shapes with 8 water activated paint by Mayron, and then I use the red for the heart and the diamond shape on my neck. I then paint the jacket white and the lapel gray, and then the little strap around the arm red. After that, I then go in and paint all of the negative space black. If you're painting a model, then go ahead and paint her arms at this time, but if you're painting yourself, always refrain from painting your arms to the very end, because for the next 6 hours, you don't want to drag black arms across, your beautiful chest piece. It ends up looking like absolute garbage at the end. Then with a little detailed brush, I make a shadow around the spine with Makeup Geek's Corrupt black eyeshadow. And then I take a smudging brush and really fade out the shadow line. And then I also do that around the jacket where the lapel hangs over the bones. You're going to want to do that in any area where something is on top of another item, but the lapel on top of the jacket will wait till the very end because we still need to get the stencil on, and then we'll put the shadow over that. With NYX new cream paint in white, which I love. I've been using it for my highlights. I add some to the center of the heart and to the diamond shape, and then Sugar Pills Love Plus around the edges of it and pull it back in to kind of give it a more blended look. With a small detailed brush, I take Corrupt and I start forming the shadow little pucker marks on the bow tie. And then I blend it outward a bit so it softens up and then really has a harsher line where the wrinkle is. I add some Corrupt softly around the edges of the bow tie. That way it makes the bow tie actually look like it's kind of curving backward, sort of popping off the skin. Then around the areas where the wrinkle kind of pops up, I add some of the NYX cream white paint and just tap it out with your finger, and it really makes the wrinkle look three-dimensional. I take my houndstooth stencil and I add it to that little back area of the second flap of the bow tie, which is kind of like a formal look. For stenciling, I just use a dark eyeshadow. This is the Makeup Geek's Corrupt, but you can use whatever you have. But if you have an airbrush, obviously use that. That leaves it looking the cleanest. And because I use an eyeshadow for the stencil, I wait for the jacket till the very end just because I don't want it to get all smeared up and super muddy looking. Being said, I'm just going to jump onto the face and start mapping out my crafty little skull. I draw a club and an ace so that my teeth can pop through. With the liner brush and black paint, out the shapes and just keep the outer line super clean. Whenever it comes to the eyes, I'm not sure if I did this in any of my other videos, but I always use eyeshadow because paint around my eyes looks like absolute trash. It makes skin look way drier. It's not even really a cracking issue, it just makes your skin look like shit. Point blank. So Sugar Pills Love Plus for the hearts and Corrupt for the black around the hearts. With the black eyeshadow and a angled detail brush, I start to form a little shadow around the eyes and the club and ace and the nose. I keep a super sharp line closest to the shape, and then I pull the shadow outward a bit to give it a little edge. And then take a smudging brush and just work out the area so it's not so harsh. I start painting the teeth in with the white water activated paint, and then I size it up so that the dice will fit on the tooth. That's why they're so big. Just continue on and making the top row, and then go ahead and do your other side. Then fill in all of the negative space with black. With a tiny little liner brush, I make little dots around the red hearts and then add some eyeshadow around the lash line. Then with the black eyeshadow, I form a shadow on the bottom of the little gum line just to make it look more realistic. And then in a little shadow on the back teeth to make them look like they're really tucked in. Then I jump back down to the suit and I start stenciling the houndstooth with the black eyeshadow, and just get it saturated on your brush and then just work it back and forth. Just remember to keep the stencil really tight to your skin so that the eyeshadow doesn't slip underneath it, and then it ruins how crispy it turns out. Then continue on your mission because it'll take a while, and like I said, if you have an airbrush, this is where you can save so much time and energy. It's a little bit of effort, but just fill in all the little side holes, and then it kind of looks like the fabric is moving. With the NYX cream paint, I just add a little bit of highlight to the lapel to kind of stand out and have somewhat of some texture to it. And then with a fine detailed brush, form a shadow from the lapel onto the jacket with the black eyeshadow and then smudge it out a bit with this smudge brush. You can also use black water activated paint just by keeping one of the sides super sharp and then pulling the paint outward while it's still a bit wet. Then add some black eyeshadow to blend it out. Also make sure to use your liner brush and form the seam line on the shoulders. It just gives it such a realistic look for a suit jacket of any kind, well, any clothing for that matter. And since there's only the mouth and the arms left, it's a perfect time to shadow the bones on the arms. And then fill in the rest of the negative space with the black. I jump back up to the mouth to finish up, and I start painting the teeth. Then with a tiny little detailer brush, I paint the negative space in between the teeth and on the lips black with the water activated paint, but I only come down to the gum line, and then I take the white water activated paint and I bring that up to the teeth. Then with the black eyeshadow, I just form a little shadow on the bottom, the teeth, where they hit the gum line so they look like they're sunken in the bone. And just to finish up, you can just add a little shadow on the tops and the bottoms of the teeth where they meet the lip. It just casts a little tiny shadow on the bottoms and the top, and it just makes them look more round so that they're not flat on your face. And then over that eyeshadow on the bottom gum line, you add the white little highlights that makes it look like the bone is popping out. Then with Mayron's liquid latex, I take a cotton swab and I dab on a little tiny dot onto each one of the front teeth to glue my dice to. Also add some to the back of the dice, and then once the latex sets up, you can stick the dice to the areas that you put on the teeth and they'll stick together like glue. Add some black mascara. And I stayed away from lashes so it didn't mess with my pretty little hearts. Then my wig, red contacts from Camo Eyes, and my fedora hat. Thank you guys so much for watching, and the next YouTube video will be my NYX Face Awards submission, and I hope it works out. It's going to be super cute. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys then.